I found out, and by the way, I was going to talk a little bit about the allegations of anti-Semitism that have been lodged against a Jewish couple, a Zionist couple in California, the Resnicks, they're using an awful lot of water. And some are saying criticism of them is tantamount to anti-Semitism. I wanted to talk about that story, but you know what? We're almost at the hour, so I'm going to just probably end after this one. I'll talk about the Resnicks tomorrow on the Free-for-All and other stories as well. So I, months ago, commented on this Reddit sub-thread called Enough Sanders Spam. I didn't even remember doing that. I totally slipped my mind. I comment all the time in lots of different social media posts. But, and I called myself Hal Ginsberg, now I'm Halitics, but, I forgot. So I commented, and I forgot all about it. And then I looked at, I was on Reddit for some other reason, because I'm in other groups there. I'm in a ThinkPad users for my computer, and on my Fedora Linux users, and this and that, my techie stuff. So I looked at, I had these old messages in there, and I looked, and I realized I'd gotten a notice from Enough Sanders Spam, which I'd even forgotten I ever posted on it. And so they said, you have been permanently banned. How lovely, from participating in Enough Sanders Spam. And this is very much like what happened to me on Daily Kos. They banned me because I guess I was too critical of they believe in Daily Kos, even though it's called Daily Kos. At least I'll give you this. Enough Sanders Spam, there's truth in advertising. They don't want to hear anything critical that might come, critical of the Dems. They don't want to hear any criticism from the left, which is what they call Sanders Spam. But Daily Kos just call themselves Daily Kos, but what they are is an appendage of the Democratic Party, and you can't criticize Democrats. And you can't criticize them from the left, and you can't call for voting for third parties or alternative parties. Can't do any of that on Daily Kos, and they'll ban you, as they did. They banned me from Daily Kos. So I've also been banned from Enough Sanders Spam. You won't be able to post or comment, but look how nice they are. But you can still view and subscribe to it. I'm like, no, I don't play that game. I don't view and subscribe to channels that I don't get to. Well, I might view it because I make fun of them, mock them, but I'm about a dialogue, a discussion. I'm not about getting to drink in your wisdom, but you don't even know that I disagree with you. No, I'm not about that. And then they tell, here's an example of your comment. Well, it is my only comment, so I wouldn't say it's an example. It is my comment. And I think what I was responding to, I don't have the thread I was responding, but I think it was something about how Hillary was just a normal politician and it wasn't fair, and all the criticism she got, just for behaving just like everyone else, and what a phony Bernie is, and this and that, forever criticizing her. So this is what I wrote in response. They sure didn't like this, obviously, because I got banned. I mean, I think I was banned, right before I clicked submit. So I wrote, it's true that Hillary's actions, including fomenting a fascist coup in Honduras, which, by the way, is a significant driver of the immigration crisis, stymieing a minimum wage hike in Haiti for corporate benefactors. We've talked about that many times, turning Libya into a failed state. Of course, we know she did that, supporting Wall Street reforms of Wall Street, standing foursquare against Medicare for all, touring the globe for fracking, and creating a phony narrative around a non-existent conspiracy to justify her loss to Trump. Those are normal. I don't disagree. You have a fair point there, I suppose. But that doesn't make it okay. That doesn't mean it's not corrupt. Well, they didn't like that. They said, you're gone. You're out for that. They didn't respond. They didn't say, well, here's why you're being unfair to her. Here's why that's spam. No, we don't want to hear it. We don't want a dialogue. We don't want a conversation. And what is the direct result of that attitude? A Trump presidency. A party that is completely unwilling to hear criticism, that is unwilling to change, that is unwilling to recognize its failings. And because of that, we have Trump as president. I saw this, so I was like, okay, I'll answer. I'll ask a question. So Reddit was very, very nice, the subreddit. I don't think this was the subreddit. I think this was Reddit. Reddit says, when, I think they tell their groups, if you create a group, I could create a subreddit, right? Anyone can create one. Oh, by the way, speaking of groups, if you haven't yet, subscribe to Halitics on Facebook. And I just saw we bumped up to 140. Woohoo! 140. I was glad to see that. And again, don't forget to click subscribe, click like on this particular video here on YouTube. By the way, if anyone called me, someone did call me. I am so sorry. I missed your call. Call back if you can. I missed your call. I think that was Ari. Ari, I do apologize. I forgot to check my ringer and I missed you. So there it is ringing now. But if you call back in the next 5 minutes, Ari, I will talk to you if that was you or whoever it was. Reddit saying, if you have a question regarding your ban, you can contact the moderator team by replying to this message. So I thought, all right, well, I have a question about my ban, so I'll ask it. And so here was my question, which I think was a very fair question. I like the question I asked. Since they banned me, I made an assumption. What did I write that you consider unfair or inaccurate, right? I mean, if you're going to ban me, you must have thought I said something that was wrong-headed, misguided, untrue, unfair. So what was it? That's all I want to know. Let's have a dialogue. Even though you say we're not going to have a dialogue, if you disagree with me, tell me what I said wrong. So they didn't like that either. And I got this response from the subreddit. You have been temporarily muted. Isn't that hilarious? First they say, if you don't like your ban, you can question it. You can contact the moderators. And so they didn't like my question. So now I can't even message them for 28 days. Well, I don't think I'll waste any more time. But again, this is emblematic of the failing of the Democratic establishment, and for all I know, these are just your average, everyday Dems. And they can't bear to have their, preconceptions, their received notions challenged, questioned. They can't bear it. So they just won't even have a dialogue. And I see that over and over from the centrist Dems, the corporate Dems. Rather than discuss, rather than being open to criticism, they don't want to hear it. They won't hear it. And it's very, very unfortunate. And that's perfect example of why Republicans win. Because the party is top down, because the party makes decisions, the party makes excuses, explanations, apologia, but never comes clean, never acknowledges real error. When I say apology, I don't mean they apologize. I mean they say, well, Harris couldn't really break with Biden. She couldn't really do that. Not, she was wrong and she should have broken with Biden and she did, and that's why she lost. Well, she was between a rock and a hard place. She didn't have enough time to campaign. That's the failure of the Democratic Party. Complete inability, unwillingness to question itself, to examine itself. And you know why? We're going to leave it at this. Because it's corrupt. Because its failings are the direct result of its being owned by the billionaire elites. And that forces it over and over to betray the people that the party claims to represent. Can't admit that, right? Can't acknowledge that. You can't say that. Well, the problem is we take all this money from billionaires, from warmongers, from big banks, from importers, from short timers, from gamblers. We can't admit that because then we would really have to change. And we like it. We like things just the way they are, even if we're going to lose a few elections. In the end, we, the Democratic elites, get to live a lot better than you.